For something that started with a wedding and pretty much a song and a dance, this crossover got pretty serious pretty quickly. In fact, so serious that I question whether or not it's capable for me to actually convey all of the amazing things that were just so horrible because they were truish. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Flash, Season 4, Episode 8, Crisis on Earth X, Part 3, and then, of course, we are going to include Legends of Tomorrow Episode 8 for Crisis on Earth X, Part 4. And this four-parter that started over on Supergirl is actually a completely self-contained story that is pretty amazingly put together so that you can't even tell which episode is which set of characters, because everyone gets a bit here and there. Let's try to work through this, though. Supergirl's in danger. In the cliffhanger, she was captured along with everyone else. I personally expected the other night that we were going to get a full set of Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters. We didn't. Instead, we did get the Ray and a little bit of teasing of different people, including getting a return of a personal favorite. And at the same time, we still had the throughway of the matters of the heart, especially since the Ray's boyfriend is the one who helps convince them that they need to help this team. But okay, for those of you that don't know, if this is your first time here, I examine stories. I look at why we tell them, how we tell them, themes, symbolism, all of that. And then I also review just how good or bad they are. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to join our community, click the subscribe button. But alright, this started with a wedding that was, well, crashed by evil doppelgangers from another Earth. And now the crisis has begun. They didn't go to Earth X to liberate Earth X. They went to Earth X as a set of prisoners. And basically, just about everyone was being held prisoner either in Star Labs on Earth 1 or on Earth X. But let's get into details with the spoiler section. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So in this Earth X, everyone is someone or dead. And Oliver is their equivalent of the Fuhrer. I'm going to come back to that in a second, although I do find it interesting that the Ray is from our Earth. That means that there's some sort of history there that we're going to need to deal with. Of course, the main thrust of what's been going on isn't just a jailbreak. It's calling the Legends for help. It's calling for the Wave Rider. It's getting everyone in on getting into the action, including Cold. That's right, we brought back Doppelganger Captain Cold, and he comes in to the rescue before our heroes are, I don't know, summarily executed when they weren't going to be executed while they were unconscious. You want to know the truth? This is one of those it's a bad plan moments. It's a bad plan. But alright, I want to talk for a moment about why it is that people that are important show up on multiple Earths. And of course, the out-of-show answer is, because we have the actors, so we're going to use the same actors over and over again. But I also want you to think about the fact that these are people who are already above and beyond. These are the people that have pushed and gotten themselves into amazing situations. Even Wynn, who's a general on Earth X, is really a pretty important person on Earth 9? Earth 7? I don't... What Earth was Kara again? 17? Not that that really matters. But okay. So this episode picks up in a really dark place. In fact, they transition from part 1 and 2 being pretty lighthearted with some fights to part 2 being very dark. I mean, like, the darkest parts of our history. We have the fact that the Nazis exterminated people with stars and pink triangles. Two groups that aren't exactly beloved today either. And it really hurts me because I have friends that would easily be rounded up and put in both. In fact, I have one that would probably, you'd have to decide which one to brand him with. So, that was hard to get through, especially with all of the scenes where Oliver was trying to pretend to be the Fuhrer. And part of me needs to remember this is just a comic, this is just a show. And that at the end of the day, they were just making their equivalent of Batman into the bad guy so they could showcase, see, the guy without powers is super badass and is the threat. This is a hard review to do, though. We even get a little bit of shades of gray when the problem shows up that on Earth X, Winn won't help them because this is his golden opportunity. And I want you to think about this from the side of Earth 1. The villain that can't be stopped is on the other side of this portal. We have a way to stop this portal. Once we stop it, they can't come back. We win. We freed our world. I bet Yali would take that in a second, let alone most of the members of Argus or even Manhunter on Earth, whatever number she's on. Now, yeah, we still have the whole heart thing. We have the fact that Ollie and Felicity got into a fight right before all of this. We have the fact that Kara is still feeling unloved. And we have the fact that Canary actually is making quite a connection with Alex over the idea of what you do when your sister's in trouble. And, hey, you're part of my team now. But the big reveal comes not with the heart, but in the mechanical. Because you see, there's a weapon heading to blow up the portal in between worlds, which I keep having to remind myself, why do they need the portal? All they need to do is get Vibe up and running. But okay, they don't know that Vibe has a potential to be up and running. So instead, we have this moment where Red Tornado, you remember him from Supergirl? He's back and heading straight for the portal. And this turns into the climactic set piece of the first episode of the 2 for the night. Red Tornado, who remember is tough enough to go on against a Kryptonian, against Ray and Flash, while the rest of the team is trying to break through the Nazis. And you know what? I have to say, this is one of the most thought-out action sequences they've had in a while. It's no secret that I have an effect I call the Firestorm effect. And somewhere between having no special effects budget and having writers that don't know how to handle powerful characters, this comes up a lot. But not only does it not, but they specifically avoid it by playing to type. You know what? They split up Firestorm all the time, and I get so mad at it on Legends. Hey, we need a scientist to go with Jax. Why don't we send Ray? How about you send the other half of Firestorm with him? But alright, they come up with this plan mid-action. We'll split up. I'll do this, you do that. And it plays right into Firestorm's strength. Firestorm can literally be in 2 places at once, because he's a hero that's composed of both an action hero and a scientist. We also have some kick-ass action sequences with things like Alex and Sarah and Arrow and everyone really doing their part. Meanwhile, Supergirl's going under the knife because Ubergirl needs her heart, literally, in order to survive. And that brings us back into Star Labs, where Felicity is being threatened by Reverse Flash, with the whole vibrating hand trick. And he sits there and goes, you know, it's pretty amazing. We tell stories about this person, that person. No one remembers Felicity Smoke. Feel like saying, well, your history books are kind of crappy then, because Felicity Smoke is every bit the hero that Arrow is. In fact, she's Overwatch. Then again, Reverse Flash just doesn't seem to be as creepy or as scary as he has been in previous episodes. Even in the first episode of this crossover. Because he tells Kara at one point, oh yeah, I fought your cousin in the future. He may be strong, but I'm faster than him. And I feel like laughing. Yeah, okay, you're faster. But your speed can only do so much against a Kryptonian. Unless you have a red sun projector or kryptonite. But that's okay, because even at this rally point, everything's pretty much looking pretty bad. With the help of Metallo, they've recaptured Kara. Well, she's given herself up, really. And it looks like this evil version of the heroes are going to have their way, because no matter what happens, everything seems to be put on the line. Red Tornado's on his way to destroy the portal, the evil version of the Wave Rider's already through the portal, but the heroes aren't. And of course, Martin Stein gets shot. My God, after all the talk about him being like a father and Jax being like a son, how did I not see that coming? So that theme of love and loss continues to run strong as we start Part 4, as Legends of Tomorrow Episode 8 begins. And in the first, 30 seconds, minute of the episode, we solve a bunch of the problems. Except for the fact that Well, the professor's still down. Now, yeah, they form Firestorm, and you sit there and hope that that means he's in stasis and okay. But we still have Nazis controlling Star Labs. We still have an entire super team worth of problems on Earth-1. And let's not forget the fact that they have, even if we say their Supergirl's down for the count while the surgery, they still have Reverse Flash, an Evil Arrow, and an army. Of course, we may have one or two heroes over that. And it finally felt like for a moment like we had Firestorm at full power. Firestorm, the Ray, Flash, and a couple others along for the ride, fighting Metallo and kicking his ass. Meanwhile, the showdown between the Emerald Archer and the Nazi Archer. And once again, it was pretty badass. And is it just me, or did Oliver have a second kryptonite arrow? I'm just saying, where did he get that? Meanwhile, the Legends have finally showed up and are kicking ass. Two great lines. Who needs an army when you have Legends? And, oh, he's just surly because he just got out of a box. No, he's always like that. Once again, Heatwave seems to steal the show, even when it's not his lines doing it. But okay. So now we have all the heroes together in, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes worth of the episode. And the final showdown begins. So part of the reason why the troop transport was another Wave Rider was because we needed a Wave Rider versus Wave Rider action. But of course, like everything that's gone on in this crossover, we got a few moments to breathe. Our scene and sequel paid off well. In this case, the sequel was all about the professor and the fact that Caitlin realizes that he's dying, and Jax is going to die with him. And once again, I'm reminded that this series that started off so lighthearted, where I was laughing and joking at what was going on and was so happy for the running back to me reference, that the wedding and all of that seems like a lifetime ago instead of a day ago, as we've once again hit these heart-wrenching moments. But there was a little bit of comedy there, especially when Captain Cold told Heatwave that he ran into a burning fire to save police officers. Have I mentioned that those guys steal the show every chance they get? But no matter how much comedy there is, nothing prepares you for a moment like what happened next. Firestorm. No more. Alright, so, the injuries were too severe, even holding him in stasis. And he knew it. And he took the drug to separate him from Jax so Jax wouldn't die. And so we lose out on Firestorm, but we also lose out on Professor Stein. We can't bring Marty back, but we can protect the city that he loved and the family that he left behind. One hell of a rallying cry. So one last big push. Every hero on our Earth against their anti-heroes. And you know what? It was a pretty badass moment where everyone had their moment to shine. Everyone got to save someone. Everyone got to fight someone. Everyone got to push just that little bit beyond what they normally do. I especially loved the Team Girl power with Cisco helping them take down the evil Wave Rider. Supergirl calls out her evil self to come out and fight, which breaks a hole, which allows Killer Frost and Vixen and... Do we actually have the Hacker Girl's nickname yet? I mean, I know it's supposed to be Isis, but whatever, okay. And them go in, and then Vibe has to save them. Meanwhile, we have Arrow versus Arrow in a knockdown, drag-out fight. But I actually end up feeling sorry for Nazi Ollie, because he gets shot through the heart twice. First, when he has to watch the love of his life explode, which, sleight of hand, I really liked Harrison Wells' whole, you need to fly her up and away. Alright, up and away was kind of cheesy, but okay. Evil Ollie watched the woman he loved explode, and then turned around to get an arrow through the heart. Considering the theme of the episode, it was very poignant. At the end of the day, this series of episodes, was adventurous and awesome, and we got to see some great action sequences, and there were some good jokes, but they managed to really drive home that theme, especially with, well, I guess it's Citizen Cold, Captain Cold, whatever, from Earth X, and the fact that he stayed behind even though the man he loved went home, and the fact that we saw someone explode who was the heart and soul of the evil general. Everyone's actions in this series could be broken down into, they did it for love, and that's pretty amazing. And yeah, they didn't end on a big wedding. Instead, they ended on a small one that still also brought me to tears. I loved the whole thing with Diggle throwing up when he ran back to Star City. That was pretty hysterical and a great callback. With you by my side, anything was possible. And let's be honest, there were enough couples brought up throughout the thing that I couldn't even go through how many of them don't necessarily end up with their happy ending. But I did also like the little Oliver and Felicity, oh, now you're pro-wedding. But oh man, a double wedding. Green Arrow and Felicity, Barry and Iris. Couples for the ages. I'm sure it's gonna get quite a few people that don't want to hear that, though. Overall, Crisis on Earth X was a great crossover. It hit all the major notes, and all the things I was worried about ahead of time weren't really major problems. I will say I did totally call that they were going to hook up the two lesbian chicks, and that might even be the only reason they broke up Maggie. And the only real big surprise for me, I mean, there were a couple little ones here and there, and I can't say I foresaw the whole thing, was Eobard Thawne getting away in the end. Because Barry can't arrest him. So what do you do with an enemy that you can't stop and that can vibrate through? I mean, they could have thrown him in that cell, but I guess that wouldn't help really much. So the crisis is over, for now, until the next time. And now we have just mid-season breaks coming. So join me back here for Supergirl on Monday, Flash on, well, I do them Wednesday morning, and then maybe I'll finally do a Legends of Tomorrow for this season, for their mid-season finale, I'm not sure yet. But Arrow I will definitely do Friday morning. If you have any questions about the crossover, or just things that you think I missed, do me a favor, leave them down in the comment section. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. In fact, with the mid-season break coming up next week, maybe the week after, I'll just do a review of what you guys thought, and talk to you. For now, though, if you enjoyed this review, click that thumbs up, like button, and of course share the video with your friends and family. And if this is your first time here, click the subscribe button. I've got about 70-something subscribers right now. When I hit 100, I'm going to do a giveaway of a gift card. I'm trying to do a whole community thing here, so I want you to be a part of it. Because what's the fun of dissecting a story if there's no one to talk to about it? Let me know what you think of the heart of this obviously heartfelt crisis on Earth X. Have a good night.